All right, welcome to the Explainer. So, you've always wanted to get into chess, but maybe it seemed a little intimidating. Well, you are in the right spot. We're going to break down the absolute essentials you need, not just to play, but to actually go for a win, right from your very first game.
So, what's the number one thing that trips up beginners and costs them the game? You might think it's some fancy move they didn't see, right? Nope. It's actually a misunderstanding of one single rule. A rule that can literally snatch a win right out of your hands and turn it into a draw. We're going to show you exactly what that is in just a bit.
But first things first. Before we get to that big gotcha moment, we gotta be crystal clear on the main objective. I mean, you can't really win a game if you don't know what winning actually looks like, right? And here it is, the core of it all, straight from the official rulebook. So many people think the whole point of chess is to, capture all the other guy's pieces. But that's not it at all. The game is over. You win the very second the enemy king is trapped and has absolutely nowhere to run. A position just like this. This is what you're always working towards. Think of it like this. Every single piece you have, from your smallest pawn to your superstar queen, they're all part of a team with one single mission: corner that king. Okay, so how do you actually do that? Well, you gotta know your team, right? Every piece in your army is a specialist, and each one has its own totally unique way of moving across those 64 squares.
Let's take a look. You've got the bishop, right? It just glides along the diagonals, as far as it wants, always staying on the same color square. Then there's the rook, this absolute powerhouse that controls the straight lines, up, down, side to side. We call those ranks and files. Now, the queen? She's the best of both worlds. She can move like a rook and a bishop. The knight has that tricky L-shaped move, and it's the only piece that can hop over other pieces. And then you have your pawns, the foot soldiers, moving one step forward. Getting these guys to work together, that's where the magic happens.
All right, it's time. Let's circle back to that gotcha moment, the one we talked about at the beginning. Seriously, getting this next part down is the difference between that amazing feeling of victory and a super frustrating tie. It all boils down to one simple question. Is the king under attack right now? So, if the king is being threatened, we call that being in check, and there is no way for it to get out of danger, that's checkmate. Boom, game over, you win. But, and this is the big but, if the king is not in check, but it also has no legal squares to move to, and no other pieces can move, that's a stalemate. And a stalemate is a draw. Okay, look at this classic example of this exact trap. The black king here looks totally done for, right? It's completely boxed in, can't move anywhere. But, and this is the key, look closely. Is any white piece directly attacking it in this exact moment? No. And since black has no other pieces left to move, and the king can't go anywhere without walking into an attack, the game just ends. It's a draw. All that work for a tie. And that right there is the number one blunder we were talking about. You can be totally crushing your opponent, you have way more pieces, victory is right there, and then one sloppy move, and poof, stalemate. You've just accidentally thrown away a guaranteed win. All right, let's move on to a couple of pro tips. These aren't about how the pieces move, but more about the etiquette of the game. Knowing these will make you feel way more comfortable when you sit down to play for real. Okay, this one is a huge deal in any kind of serious chess. It's called the touch move rule, and it's simple. If you deliberately touch one of your pieces, you're stuck with it. If that piece has a legal move, you have to move it. No takesies backsies. So the lesson here is pretty clear. Do your thinking in your head, not with your fingers. So is there an exception? What if a piece is just, a little crooked on its square and you just want to straighten it up? Well, there's a magic word. Before your hand even gets near that piece, you have to say, j'adoube. It's French for I adjust. It's like the universal signal that you're just tidying up, not actually making a move. Okay, so what if someone messes up? What happens when somebody makes an illegal move, either on purpose or more likely by accident? Don't stress about it. It happens way more than you think, even at the highest levels. An illegal move is basically anything that breaks the rules. Moving a knight like a bishop, forgetting your king is in check and not doing anything about it, stuff like that. It happens. The good news is there's a really simple, fair way to handle it so nobody has to get into an argument. The process is super straightforward. First, if you're playing with a chess clock, you hit pause. Then you just politely let your opponent know, hey, I think that was an illegal move. The move gets taken back, the piece goes back to where it started, and the game picks up right from there. It's all about keeping things fair and respectful. That's what really matters. And that's pretty much it.
You now have all the fundamental tools to play a real, complete game of chess. You know the goal, you know your army, and most importantly, you know the #1 trap to watch out for. The board is all set, and now you know the rules. So there's really only one question left. What's your first move going to be?